So it's that time again, as we inhabit strange-speaking monkeys. Take it away.
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is, I mean, okay, just to do the technical. So, fourth installment in the Planet of the Apes reboot series that began with, you remember this, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, then followed by Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is all, isn't it Dawn before Rise? Right. So it's Rise, Dawn, War, and so now Kingdom. And it already and inevitably, this has been announced as the first part of a new trilogy, carrying on the legacy of the previous trilogy, which, fine. Trilogy. Yeah, but I'm an Elvis fan, so we have to say trilogy. So directed by Wes Ball, best known for the Maze Runner films, written by Josh Friedman, whose feature credits include Spielberg's War of the Worlds, James Cameron's upcoming and endlessly upcoming Avatar movies. My Ken doll just fell off the wall. Never mind.
What does that mean? I think that's significant.
That's right. Ken has walked out.
Something has happened there. The spirits have moved.
So several generations after the events of War, which ended with Caesar. You remember the Andy Serkis character? Caesar dying. This isn't a plot spoiler because that is all finished. Dies after leading his tribe to the sanctuary of the Oasis. That was that trilogy completed. So many generations later, humans have regressed into feral states while the apes are the dominant civilization. We meet a young chimpanzee, Noah, from the eagle tribe. They train eagles. He's on the brink of adulthood. He and two friends have to go and get eagle eggs that they can then hatch and train their eagles. And whilst doing so, their paths cross with that of an echo being a human. Then their tribe is overrun by the tribe of vicious Proximus Caesar, who has taken on the mantle of Caesar, but has corrupted all the teachings of Caesar, which is to do with, apes together strong, now enslaves others, has made this camp in which what he wants to do is to get inside this huge kind of cavernous area where he thinks there is something from the lost human civilization that he can use. And due to various shenanigans, everybody ends up at that encampment, and they have to figure out whether ape and human can live and work together or not. Here is a clip from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
No. This is important.
They get cold. Show mercy.
Okay, so you get the general gist. So the
do.
So the basic plot recalls elements of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Battle for the Planet of the Apes, although because it's the first installment in a trilogy, it's really kind of only the setup of both of those. And there's also kind of echoes of the original Planet of the Apes. There's a little kind of quote from the original theme and, sort of nods to the original. The film takes a while to find its feet. I mean, some of the early setup stuff is, I have to say, a bit shonky. And I mean that both in the narrative sense, that there's a lot of, when are we going to move on? And also in the kind of the visuals look a little bit like the original Spider-Man, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, in which the swinging through the urban jungle in that particular case just looked very, very digital and very computer gamey. There's quite a lot of stuff in which conflicts between the various tribes of apes and the human element and just stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff without very much having any impact. Then we get into the second hour, and it's not a short film. And we get to the encampment, and things finally start to move. And then you get echoes of Mad Max in the design of the encampment, and everything starts to move forward, and the film starts to find its feet. I think this is a genuine ongoing problem with things that are envisaged at any point as, look, this is going to be a trilogy. Even if you think, well, it might be a standalone film, but it might be a trilogy. There's no urgency to get on with the narrative. And it's something which is bothering me more and more with every single thing that we see now being the first part of a trilogy. There are a couple of precipitous action sequences. I'm terrified of heights, and there are a couple of climbing sequences which are very well done and did have me gripping the edge of my seat. It does feel like it's more driven by market awareness than by actual story need. I mean, as you know, I'm a huge fan of the first five. And I think the first 5 were a very, very big part of my childhood and indeed my adult life. And, the Burton was a misstep, but then the trilogy that then followed, the one that predates this, actually I thought was very well done. This is an interesting setup for the next part. And in its final movement, it gets somewhere and it does something interesting. You think, oh, well, the next film might be... But I do feel like 2 hours or so as a setup for the next movie is not really good enough. So it's fine. It really starts slowly. There's a huge amount of waffle at the beginning. And then when it gets into the second hour, it gets somewhere that suggests that the next chapter is going to be interesting. It's not great. It's not bad. It's,
So it feels as though you're watching a prequel.
You are watching a prequel, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing that troubles me about this is, as somebody who loved all the first 5 Planet of the Apes movies, each one of them is a standalone story that does its own job. So there's first Planet of the Apes, which, is and then the big reveal, in which we see the Statue of Liberty. Then there's Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which is a thing about nuclear Armageddon. Then there's Escape from Planet of the Apes, which is a much younger aimed film, which is sort of the beginning, taking it back to the beginning of the story. Then there's Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which is absolutely to do with civil unrest. And then there is Battle for the Planet of the Apes, which is a kind of conclusion to the story. And all of those are tightly compacted films. There is just some, and they all incidentally work as completely standalone films. I think that the first 3 of this series worked as a trilogy, and they worked well. This feels like, okay, we're starting again. Why? Because it's Planet of the Apes and it is a saleable IP. Unlike Fall Guy, everyone knows Planet of the Apes. And like I said, there are things in it that are good, and certainly in the second hour, it becomes gripping and interesting. But the first hour is baggy as heck, and it really shouldn't be.